I'm Greg Crow, and you're listening to Episode 4 of Audio Off the Shelf, the podcast where I play a handful of tracks from my physical collection. Everything I play on this show comes off the vinyl shelves in my living room, off the CD shelves in my basement, or out of that box of cassettes I keep on the shelf in the storage room. This week's episode will have a theme to it, something I may do from time to time when the feeling warrants. Nothing I'm committed to, but something I'm going to try for this week at least. The episode's theme is entitled Repetition, Drones, and Pedal Tones. I was inspired to take this route based on a comment I received from a listener whose name is Lorraine and whose music was featured in Episode 2 of Audio Off the Shelf. Lorraine is an historic figure in the Canadian ska scene, fronting such iconic bands as the Kingpins and, in my humble opinion, one of Canada's best ska acts ever, Low in the Magnetics. After listening to another selection from my show, a song called It's Not Safe by Gentleman Reg, Lorraine had this to say. Anyone who knows me knows that the thing that gets me most excited about a tune is when a drone can be held under or over an entire song. Like when I can honk one single note on my berry through an entire song, I'm so happy. Not because I'm lazy, she says that for the non-musicians. It's because you're providing a trance-like element into the tune, so whether I'm playing or listening, the effect is not lost on me. Here's a quick recap of what Lorraine is talking about. Listen to how the F major chord is an absolute constant in Reg's tune. When Reg moves from verse to chorus, he still stays on the F major chord, and what's more is the chord progression in the chorus goes F major, B flat major, G7, and all of those chords have an F pitch in them, meaning you could drone an F through the entirety of the tune and never lose any consonants.
Acting like birds, it's not safe to be naked. Younger it's not safe to be naked. Younger
Whether we know it or not, our brains look for specific things when we listen to music. Among them include repetition, tension, and release. A long constant like a drone or relentless harmony can satisfy that repetition and build that tension in our minds, setting us up for a satisfying release. I think it takes a bold songwriter or composer to do such a thing, and as a writer myself, I'm usually pretty afraid to commit to such a technique. The closest I got was when I wrote a tune for my band, the Wedgewoods. Here, at the end of this instrumental bridge, I managed to put in a 5-bar effort into a C7 flat 9 chord, where the sax player, in Lorraine's words, honks away on an ostinato in his lower register. Again, I think it's a tough move for a writer to make, but those who can do it well, like Gentleman Reg, can give us some real quality musical experiences. Another reason why I think this works is because when you restrict one element of the music, you make room for others to take center stage. In Reg's case, I think what he does melodically over a single chord is really quite beautiful. And in keeping with this idea, I'd like to play you another example of a song that has a beautiful melody over a single sustained chord. The introduction and entire first verse of Chris Murray's 4th of July is all about the G major chord. It's a foundation for a wonderful melody that he has written. Check it out.
I can hear my voice complaining. I've been talking to myself, and it seems like there's nobody else who can see my situation, help me with my heavy load, and it feels like I'm going to explode. Oh, in flames all over the sky. Yeah, just like the 4th of July. Well, they've taken my donation, but they say they're still not sure that they're gonna find a cure. See, my mind was getting cluttered with things that never mattered. It was time to leave thinking alone. Now destination fixed on anything too long. My only thought is drifting on, 'cause there's a red glare blinding my eyes. Yeah, just like the 4th of July. Well, I pay my debt to science, but I'm defaulting on my loans. Come and take my skin and bones. Since I lost my destination and forgot my way back home, I've been waiting for a sign to come. When you're ready, Lord, I'm able to join you at the table. 'Cause I've been chilling with the chosen ones and talking about spinning wheels in the sky. Yeah, just like the 4th of July. To the promised land I'm coming, somewhere on along this road. Somewhere on along this road. Somewhere on along this road.
That was Chris Murray's 4th of July from his 2001 release, 4-Trackaganza. Moving on to drones. I often think of composer Lamont Young when it comes to the godfather of drone music. One of his more famous works is Composition 1960 No. 7, which is nothing more than a B and an F sharp with instructions that they are to be held for a long time, which, of course, is all relative. I've heard of some recordings of this work lasting 45 minutes and some going as long as 5 hours. What you're listening to now is not a recording, but a performance. I don't actually have any Lamont Young to take off the shelf, but I figured I could play it for you. Even with my limited keyboard skills, I'm pretty sure I can pull this off. Of course, drone music has expanded beyond the avant-garde of the 1960s and found its way into rock music, among other genres. One of my favorite bands in this vein is ISIS. Composed, meditative, and heavy, ISIS is a beautiful mix of power and patience. Check out this track from their 2000 release, Celestial. It's the lead track entitled Celestial, The Tower. Pedal points or pedal tones are a constant repeating pitch, usually in the low instruments, but not always. As our mind's ear searches for familiarity, a pedal point can be a device on which we can hang our musical hats. Pedal points commonly function as a means to create tension and release. As the constant pitch in question travels through the chord progression, it tends to fit better with some chords over others. However, our brain accepts the dissonance in exchange for the familiar. Consider the A flat that you hear being played in the guitar in the Jackson 5's I Want You Back. It sits lower in the mix at times, but it doesn't leave until the bridge. See if you can feel where that A flat pedal point is functioning more as a tension and more as a release. The context of the moment changes the function of this perpetual tone. Another example of pedal point usage can be heard in the Promise Ring tune, Why Did Ever We Meet? That is such an awkward title for a song. Here in this tune, the pedal point is B. In Western music conventions, the first, third, fifth, and seventh notes of a chord's corresponding scale are accepted as consonant or pleasing to the ear. The second and sixth notes are points of tension. The fourth is usually just ugly unless you're making some sort of alteration of what you're doing. There are 4 chords in this song: B major, D sharp minor, E major, and A major. And the pedal point B functions as the root tone or first note of the scale on the first chord, and in the second chord it becomes a tension, as it isn't any of the scale tones in relation to the chord. In the third chord, it is the 5th scale degree, and when the 4th chord comes in, the pedal point is now the 2nd scale degree or a tension. Now, if you've been able to keep up with this level of music nerdery, congratulations. And if not, all you really need to know is that the pedal point functions as a tension over 2 of the chords, and it functions as a release over the other 2. See if you can listen for those moments in this tune.
Your
circles one like a widow's. It's second the motion of second nature. Like to last, knotted engine, knotted and still where sound is lost and found. But I fear it's all just coming back to me. And I fear that it's all just coming back. It's all coming back. It's all coming back to me. And under that thread of sky, we lie together. Why care about the weather? It only ends in darkness. You're always dressed and bought in that. And between 19, 1940, for the tea it will have changed me. Turning from the invading light on my naked room, my naked room. Our coffee stains and dusty coffin. You're always dressed and bought in that.
That was Why Did Ever We Meet by The Promise Ring from their 1997 Jade Tree release entitled Nothing Feels Good. The final example of pedal point I'm going to play for you comes through the one and only Ella Fitzgerald via Cole Porter and his tune Night and Day. Mr. Porter boldly opened this tune with 35 successive uses of the same pitch. In Ella's case, in this arrangement, it's an E-flat. In Porter's original arrangement, this pedal point traveled through all manner of tangled, ambiguous harmony, but here it's stripped down and left for Ella to shine in that modern recitative style. From the 1956 Verve release, Ella Fitzgerald sings the Cole Porter songbook. This is Night and Day.
Like the beat, beat, beat of the tom-tom when the jungle shadows fall, like the tick-tick-tock of the stately clock as it stands against the wall, like the drip, drip, drip under the sun, whether near to me or far, it's no matter, darling, where you are. I think of you night and day, day and night. Why is it so that this longing for you follows wherever I go? In the roaring traffic's boom, in the silence of my lonely room, I think of you night and day, night and day, under the hide of me. There's an oh, such a hungry yearning burning inside of me, and its torment won't be through till you let me spend my life making love to you day and night, night and day, night and day, under the hide of me. There's an oh, such a hungry yearning burning inside of me, and its torment won't be through till you let me spend my life making love to you day and night, night and
From Night and Day, we go to Goodbye Sober Day from Mr. Bungle. Drones, in addition to being used as a tool for tension and release, can also be used for textural contrast. In this 1999 offering from Mr. Bungle, we hear what I'll describe as a dark circus of the macabre for most of the song, until the drone makes its entrance. The atmospheric shift takes us to a place of ritualistic foreboding. This tension is coupled not only with the lyrical content, but also its haunting vocal approach from Mike Patton. I'll give you the lyrics here because they're not altogether discernible in Patton's delivery. May your sun be blown out just like a candle. May your sea burn like tar. May your sky be rolled up like a scroll. May your blue moon drip with blood. Nightmare fuel, to be sure. From their iconic album California, this is Mr. Bungle with Goodbye Sober Day. Goodbye, sober day. This episode came to be thanks in part to some listener correspondence. Lorraine was nice enough to write in and kind of hand me a suggestion. So I would love to hear if other folks out there have any suggestions or ideas for the show. You can send your thoughts, questions, comments, ideas to audioofftheshelf@gmail.com. Also, be sure to follow or tag the podcast on Twitter at AOTS204 or on Instagram at AudioOffTheShelf. I wanted to end this episode with the ultimate drone recording. I speak of String Loop Manufactured During Downpour by Montreal's Godspeed You Black Emperor from their 1997 album F-sharp, A-sharp, Infinity. Okay, so here's my story about this album. I bought this record on a recommendation of a friend who has great musical taste, but not knowing much at all about the band or their music. I decided to give my first listen of side 2 as I was going to sleep one night. Side 1 seemed pretty atmospheric and ambient, so I figured it might be a decent record to take me to sleep. I awoke at 2 a.m., thinking that my record was skipping. It was still playing, but it wasn't skipping. That wasn't the case at all. The vinyl contains a locked groove. That's where the spiral path of the stylus ends and enters into a circular path on the record, and the needle never actually makes it to the runoff groove or the dead wax of the vinyl. Hence the infinity in the album's title, F-sharp, A-sharp, Infinity. It was a pretty unsettling experience. And now, so that you can gain a slice of the experience, I have captured a fair number of the final repetitive revolutions for you. If you want to get into bed before you listen to this, might heighten the experience even more. Thanks so much for listening today, and I hope you enjoy this final track entitled String Loop Manufactured During Downpour. Audio Off the Shelf was recorded and produced in a little corner of my basement here in Winnipeg. The Audio Off the Shelf logo was created by Benjamin Crow, based on the original iconic artwork by Donna Parsons. Thank you for listening.
Let's go back and I'll show you my hair.